We're at that time of the year where the horse boxes are loaded up and raiders from the south take on their northern counterparts at the Ebor Festival. And the local lads aren't giving up without much of a fight. Adrian Keatley being one of them. He relocated here just before the pandemic kicked in 2020. And this season he's riding the crest of a wave. He has had listed winners in France and in Ireland, most notably at the Galway Festival just the other week. He's smashed track records as well with his 2-year-olds, and he can be going there with more than a degree of confidence.
Business was gone a little bit quiet at home. The numbers were gone down, and I just felt at the time that in sport sometimes you have to stop and reinvent yourself, and that's what I decided to do. My partner's from over here, and we had spent a few years prior to that as well, over and back, so that was becoming a bit of a task as well. So we decided to come over here. I had looked at a lot of different places around the north of England and things like that, and a neighbouring trainer of mine, Tony Kyle, had a few empty boxes at the time, and I got introduced to him, and he very kindly rented me a couple of boxes. So that's where it all started.
This is a beautiful part of the world. We've seen that this morning. What does Moulton offer that other places might not be able to?
Well, for me, the current location we're in is very close to the gallops. I mean, we've gallops just across the road, Highfield gallops, and then a short walk up the road is Langton gallops. So the facilities are second to none. There's loads of trainers around here. The competition is healthy, and it keeps you sharp. And look, we're delighted to be here. Yeah.
So between now and then, a lot has changed. When did you really feel like things were starting to happen for you after the move?
When I came over here first, initially I worked with a syndicate called On to a Winner closely, and they supported me, and we had a lot of horses. But you know, I was renting 2 yards at the time. The logistics of the whole thing was very difficult to get things done correctly and as I liked. Although there was plenty of horses, that there was a lack of quality, and as I said, the logistics of it was very difficult. Now the place I'm in now at the moment, it came up for rent and for sale at the time. I kind of broke away, and I cut my number back by about 10 to 15 horses. I cut the number back to about 20. I got rid of maybe 10 to 15 horses, and it really started getting going then. I started inheriting nice horses, and you know, we'd a couple of nice successes from the time I moved in here, and since then we haven't looked back. You're
a growing business, just not far from us. Things are starting to take shape for expansion. You've recently been given planning permission to make a go of it as a bigger yard.
Yeah, look, we're looking forward to that. We got this place purchased early this year. I moved here around February, March 22. And that's when I made a cut back in numbers of horses and started again. So look, hopefully we'll be, by the end of the year, we'll have facilities to hold maybe up to 40 horses, and we'll keep growing and working from there. You've
changed tack more than a few times. 2-year-olds, for instance, this season your record's been impeccable.
Yeah, last year I decided that we got a good leg up. We were very fortunate that Watnan purchased a horse from us called Bal Mount, and with that bit of financial injection, I thought to myself that we need to be stronger in the 2-year-old division. I went off. I think I bought about 12 yearlings. So far I've ran 8 of them, and 7 of them have won. It was a good move, so yeah, hopefully it'll keep growing from there with the 2-year-olds. It's as hard to compete at the sales as it is at the races, you know, so I work very much on instinct. When I see a nice horse and I think I can afford it, I'll have a good go at it. And look, it's so far so good, yeah.
Looking at the season as a whole, you've had a couple of listed winners over different codes, over both sides of the Irish Sea as well. Talk about them individually and what they've meant.
Well, Francisco's piece, the 2-year-old, I saw him in Book 2 last year, and he was a beautiful horse. I really liked him. We bought him for, I think it was 58,000. He's probably by a little bit of an unfashionable sire in Mason, but you know, the horse himself was a beautiful individual, and that's probably why I could afford him. Look, there's going to be loads more to come from him, probably from now and into the autumn, you know.
Things didn't work out for you at Goodwood, but earlier that week, Gail Mara flew the flag for you at Galway, something of a homecoming, the other side of Ireland, of course. But to take on the big guns with a horse who was primed for that in the form of a life, that had to give you a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah, look, it was a good day in Galway. We flew over that day, and look, it was a nice race to get. It was a listed race, a listed hurdle race in Ireland this time of year. You know, the big trainers were there, but they probably didn't have their big guns in it, and we took advantage of that, and she won well. And look, she's been a massive servant for us this year, so hopefully she'll have a big future ahead of her.
Let's go through a few of who might be going. Let's start with Hara, who has had a good campaign. It's been a slightly mixed campaign as well. Where would you be looking for Hara to head for?
Hara, look, had a hell of a run in the summer hurdle the last day. He's been a little bit unlucky this season. He had all the luck last season up until around this time last year. He picked up an injury prior to the Ebor, and that knocked him out of the Ebor. But he's back down to a mark now at 95. He might struggle to get in, but if he gets in, it's a good competitive mark for him. He loves the track. He's a real good record around there. And look, if he doesn't get into the Ebor, there's the mile and a half on a Friday that he could go for either.
One of those 2-year-olds who we mentioned earlier that you've had the excellent record of was Symbol of Strength, who not only won well at Ayr last time, broke the track record, and it's all systems go for the gym crack. Yeah,
look, we've taught a lot of him for a long time. You know, we've minded him, and we've made sure that you know, when we went for a race, as in Ayr, that everything was going to be right and correct. And Conor was, you know, good and aggressive on him from the get-go. There was a serious momentum from the start. Him and Paul skipped along up in front and done a real quick time. I was a little bit worried halfway that we're after going too quick, but he was very impressive in that he stayed going. And as you said, he broke the 2-year-old track record up there, and a lot of good horses have won up there. So it has to be massive for him going into a race like the Gym Crack.
Is Bal Mount boy in the team sheet?
Yeah, Bal Mount boy. Look, he's in the 7 furlong race, and I have to speak to Watnan. He's in the 7 furlong race on Saturday. There is other options for him there, and we'll know more as the week progresses and as we get closer where we'll be going with him.
Who else might be heading to York?
I have a horse called Bear Code who won in Newcastle last Saturday week. He was second first time out. He's in the Goffs race, so we wouldn't mind a bit of that prize money with him. There's massive prize money there, so he'll go there. Do It Now could be a candidate. Look, I don't know what went wrong in Goodwood. He was drawn out on his own out the far side, just never got into it. You know, and he's a good horse. Like, I mean, he was only beaten 2 lengths in the super sprint after being off for a good while. So look, we'll be keeping a close eye on him between now and then. But yeah, the 6 furlong nursery, or else the listed race on the last day, could be a possibility for him over 5. You know, we've another horse there, Paps Turfy. He was again. He's been gelded since his last run. It was a bit of a flop, but his previous win before that was very impressive. So he could possibly go. Him or Dukes of Hatter could possibly go in the 7 furlong nursery as well. Dukes of Hatter was very unlucky in Goodwood not to get a better run through. So look, yeah, those 2 could be possibles for the nurseries as well.
You see how much it means. You see how competitive the Ebor Festival is. To get a winner there, you're laughing.
Yeah, look, it'd be massive. If we could bag a winner in York, it'd be massive for a small team like ours. As you said, in the locality we're in, we've all the big guns around here to compete with, you know, and they're masters at their craft around here. You've John Quinn across the road. You've Richard Fatty. You've Kevin Ryan just over there in Thirsk, Carl Burke. Like, I mean, the level of competition around here is unbelievable. So I think it makes us all better, and I think it's healthy competition, you know.
Do you set yourself targets at the start of the season, or is it take it as it comes?
we just want to try and be able to get growing quality what we have now and keep growing every year and be able to be competitive in group races, whether it be here in France or Ireland. Last year we were second in Group 2, second in Group 3. We won a listed race. This year we've 2 listed races won. So look, we're always trying to get to that next level, and hopefully we get there soon.